What if the Earth suddenly stopped?
Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Everything seems normal. The sun is rising. Cars are moving. People are heading to work. The world feels exactly the same as it did yesterday. But then, something impossible happened. Without warning, without explanation, the Earth suddenly stops spinning. In a single second, everything changes. The oceans begin to move. The atmosphere turns violent. Entire cities face unimaginable destruction. Could humanity survive? Or would this be the end of civilization as we know it? Today, we're exploring one of the most terrifying scenarios imaginable. What if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? The Earth rotates at incredible speed. At the equator, our planet spins at nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour. Right now, every person, every car, every building is moving at that speed. But because everything moves together, we never feel it. Now imagine that rotation suddenly stops. What happens next is almost impossible to comprehend. The ground stops, but everything above it keeps moving. People, cars, airplanes, even entire oceans. Objects would be thrown eastward at tremendous speed. The force would be far greater than the strongest hurricane ever recorded. Vehicles would become deadly projectiles. Buildings would collapse. Entire cities could be devastated within minutes. And that's only the beginning, because the atmosphere hasn't stopped moving. Massive winds, faster than most aircraft, would continue racing around the planet. The sky itself would become a weapon. In just a few moments, much of the world would be plunged into chaos. For billions of people, there would be no time to react. No time to escape, only time to witness the unimaginable. If the violent winds weren't enough, the oceans would deliver an even greater catastrophe. Right now, Earth's rotation helps shape the distribution of water across the planet. But when the planet suddenly stops, the oceans don't stop with it. Billions of tons of water continue moving at incredible speed. The result? Gigantic mega tsunamis unlike anything in human history. Walls of water hundreds of meters high would race across the continents. Coastal cities would be the first to disappear. New York, Tokyo, London, Shanghai, Los Angeles. Entire skylines would vanish beneath the waves. Ships would be thrown inland, ports would be destroyed, airports would be flooded. Within hours, many of the world's most populated regions would become unrecognizable. And the destruction wouldn't stop at the coastline. The force of the water would travel deep into the continents. Rivers would overflow. Valleys would disappear. Entire landscapes would be reshaped forever. From space, Earth would look like a planet in the middle of a global flood. For the few survivors watching from higher ground, the sight would be terrifying. A world once ruled by cities, now ruled by water. And as the oceans settle into their new positions, a new Earth would begin to emerge. The destruction caused by the winds and oceans would only be the beginning, because Earth's rotation does more than create day and night. It actually shapes our planet. Today, Earth isn't a perfect sphere. It bulges slightly around the equator because of its rotation. But once that rotation disappears, gravity begins to take control. Slowly but relentlessly, water starts migrating toward the poles. Over time, enormous oceans would form around the North and South poles. Meanwhile, vast regions near the equator would emerge from the sea. Entire continents would change shape. New land would appear where oceans once existed, and places that are currently home to millions of people could end up underwater forever. The maps hanging in our homes would become completely useless. Countries would lose their borders. Coastlines would vanish. New mountain ranges and new seas would define the future world. If future civilizations survived long enough, they would grow up on a planet that looked nothing like the Earth we know today. History books would describe our world as a lost age, a time when continents had different shapes, a time when oceans covered different lands, a time before the Great Stop. And while the geography continued to change, another challenge was coming. A challenge that would transform life itself, the cycle of day and night, because a world that no longer spins would never experience a normal day again.